If you like this video, why not subscribe?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the weekly recap Q&A show. That's the show where I talk about things or questions people have sent me from last week. You have a question, you can ask me at thefrugalfilmmaker@gmail.com. That's your best chance of getting it answered. And I'm also going to share with you a bunch of links in the description below that accumulated in the Facebook group. So check those out if that's all you're interested in. Otherwise, it's just going to be me talking. So if you want to tab away or do something else while you listen, that's great too. Once in a while you might see something visually here in the background, but not often. So anyway, let's jump right in. Last week, oh, and by the way, something new I'm going to try. If you want to help the show, click the like button and comment below. Something I'm going to try and help I think would help the show with viewership and searchability and popularity. If you don't mind doing that, I'd appreciate you. Last week the show that I released was the Frugal Fast Release. That's the quick release system that I introduced, and a lot of people had concerns about it because it is small. It's based on a washer and a cold shoe mount, about putting their cameras on it, and I understand those concerns, and which is I kind of addressed it in the episode itself about it's mainly a system for smaller cameras. Something else I thought of too is it might be a way that if you have to move your camera around to certain fixed locations, and like for example, I don't know, a concert or something, you need to move your camera around or mount several small cameras, that'd be another good way of doing it. But again, it's mostly a system for small cameras. I know people were concerned, like there's no way I trust my camera on that. I understand. It's just like a lot of things that I build, of course you build them and use them at your own risk, but also there are also just ideas that aren't fully developed. So there might be better ways of implementing them, and I'm all ears about that. That's kind of the whole idea of this channel, is to sort of put out ideas and have other people take them, work on them, make them better, so that we can all benefit from it. So, but I always appreciate all comments and input, whether it's positive or negative. It just helps me make a better channel. So this week, let's jump right into our questions before we talk about what the show's going to be this week. I'll probably guess what it is. I have a question from Ryan Evans, who says, I too have the Sony NEX5N and have a small budget when it comes to buying lenses. One of your videos mentioned pairing Roker lenses with the Minolta Roker lenses with the 5N. What Roker lenses do you own and how have they worked for you? Let me know if you have any must-buy Roker lenses, which of course is the question for this week, is which lenses do you consider a must-buy? Well, let's talk about that. I have a Sony NEX5N. It's a mirrorless interchangeable lens camera that I bought recently. If you want to see what some of the video looks like, I used it on my last short, Conversation Hearts. I thought it worked out pretty well. The main lenses we used on that shoot were the kit lens, because it bottoms out at 18 millimeters. So right now I don't have a prime that's that wide, so I need to use the kit lens. We also used the 28 millimeter Roker, the 35 millimeter Roker, and a 50 millimeter Roker. Now, because we're using the 5N, which like a lot of interchangeable lens cameras that are not full frame sensors, it's a crop sensor, which means that, like for my camera, it's a 1.5 crop, which means if I put, it's really easy to figure out what the lens actually does, because, for example, the 50, all you do is you just take that number, divide it in half, and then add it to the original focal length. So in effect, a 50 millimeter lens becomes a 75 millimeter lens because of the crop sensor, which means that a 35 millimeter lens I think is a must-buy, because it then turns your camera into the equivalent of a 52 millimeter, which is closest to the 50, which is what everyone, it's kind of a great focal length to have, is the 50. But on a crop sensor camera like mine, if it's a 1.5 crop, it's going to be, you're going to need a 35 millimeter. However, in the Minolta brand, the older Minolta lenses, that one's more rare, so it costs more. Mine cost 80 bucks on eBay. But I would say that is probably the must-buy lens as far as for my camera. But I'm curious to hear what other people suggest, what their must-buy lenses are. You also need to, I mean, everyone needs a wide-angle lens, and telephotos are good too. I actually have a 135 millimeter Minolta Celtic that I've used, but mostly for still photography, not videos. So those are my suggestions, but I'm curious to hear what other people, what you guys think, what lenses you consider a must-buy. So if you could leave a comment below and maybe where you got your lens, that'd be great. So thank you, Ryan, for your questions. Your question. The next one comes from Victor Fateh, Hope I said that right, Victor. He says, I'm a senior in high school and have plans on making more short films with actors, but the problem is most people my age hate spending more than an hour in front of a camera and never take it seriously. How do you motivate people to participate in your films? Not only for actors, but possibly for assistants and writing. I've talked about this before a little bit, although you bring in, also the crew, essentially, or assistants. As far as actors go, I mean, I sort of have an advantage here because I'm in grad school right now, so they have a theater department, they have a film department that I can get actors from. The last two actors you saw in Conversation Hearts go to school here also, or did go to school, or associated with the theater film departments. So it's a little easier for me to find actors that way. However, I'm also a big believer in auditioning people, and one way you can do that is put an ad out in Craigslist, put the word out to acting classes, local theaters. You're gonna have to do some legwork, obviously, to get this done. There was a great 3-part article written on my blog by a friend of mine, Chris Henderson, who's an actor-writer. He's actually in LA right now, that I've done some stuff with. He's the one that wrote Meredith, a previous short film of mine. And he wrote a great 3-part article. I put the links below. Tons of great information about auditioning. But I also realized that if you're a senior in high school, you're probably going to have a harder time. Well, no one will know, obviously, how old you are until they show up at the audition. But, create, even though you asked about how do you work with non-professionals, but create an atmosphere of professionalism, and that will boost the quality of your product. Or people will see that, they will want to be a part of it. If they feel like you are at least acting like a professional, you want to be a professional, so you're acting accordingly. As far as getting people to help, like with writing and things like that, there's probably, unless you can find other people that have the similar passion that you do, it's going to be difficult. I remember when I first started making short films, I couldn't find anybody to help with writing or anything else, which is why I had to learn it myself. And I do a lot of one-man banding because there's not, it's better here, obviously, because I'm in film school, so there's other filmmakers who want to do things even outside of class. But you have to, if you can't find people like that, you're going to have to do a lot of that yourself. You might be able to find 1 or 2 people, like I said, that have equal passion. And as you said, getting people to help, especially actors who are not actors and don't know what it's like to be on a film set where you do a lot of waiting around. They get, they think it's exciting at first, but then they get bored really fast. I completely understand. So that's why you have to find those people that have equal passion levels. But it's going to be a challenge, especially if you're not integrated into some kind of film or theater community right now and you're just starting from scratch. That can be difficult, but not impossible, and those people are out there. You have to find them, though. Like I said, go to theater classes, find the local college or university. Talk to the head of the department there, or some professors, and see if you can maybe say something in class or post an ad or something. But it's going to take some legwork if you're starting from zero. So be prepared for that, and hopefully you'll find those people, because they are out there. I think in any community you're going to find some good actors, you're going to find some good crew members. You might end up being the DP and the writer for a while on your own, but if your projects pick up steam and people start to recognize them, especially what I would recommend doing is once you make something, put it on the internet. Use that. A lot of people have used auditions to say, well, this film is going to be sent around to festivals and we're going to gain some attention that way. Where my recommendation is tell people it's going to be on the internet so they can instantly send those links to their friends and family members, and they can use it as a kind of a living resume on the web. That's what I recommend doing. You can use that in your audition notice. Actually, this film is going to be on the internet. Okay, hopefully that helped. E. Novello says, is there a frugal way to sync sound from the Zoom H1 to video content? Well, I don't have any automatic syncing programs like Pluraleyes, which is a program you can use. It's supposed to automatically. I haven't used it. You can, though, and there's a free trial. Maybe I'll link to that below. Kind of used it once, but this is the deal. When you're using double system sound, I know like in Final Cut Pro, you can link separate sound files to video files. When I'm using Sony Vegas, what I have to do when I'm syncing all my sound to picture is I have to create its own timeline, and then I take the video clips, separate them all out, take the audio clips, separate them all out, and then line them up manually, sync them manually via the audio waveforms. So I'm actually looking for a more efficient way to do this. Obviously these programs can help, but usually when I have all these clips, I'm just slapping them on the timeline. They're all squashed together. So I need to find a script or something that would maybe, when I can put them on the timeline and then run a script, which is just kind of an automated set of instructions. You can do this in Vegas Pro, and which kind of separates all the video clips. I can do the same thing, separates all the audio clips so they can move back and forth on the timeline without encroaching on each other, and then run a program like Pluraleyes to do that for me. I think that's probably the fastest way, though I haven't figured it out yet, and it's probably the topic of a future video once I do figure this out yet. Since with the Sony NEX5N, you have to use double system sound because the only microphone you have is the one on the camera. There's no mic input, which is fine because the audio from a Zoom H1 is superior anyway, and we probably should be using sound recorders because the preamps and cameras are so terrible. But the recorders like the Zoom are great. So that's what I would recommend. I don't know how frugal that is. It's time consuming. And a program like Pluraleyes, I believe, is at least $100. So use it the time that you have to sync the clips manually, or I'm going to try and come up with a system that gives me a faster workflow. And I'll share it with everybody when I do figure that out. Or maybe you can tell me what yours is, and I won't have to work so hard. Okay, this next one comes from Brando, who says, I just bought a lighting kit that has 3 stands, soft boxes, and light bulbs with CFL bulbs. My issue is that I would like to store my 12 CFL bulbs safely and keep them mobile so I can take them to different locations easily. I quickly made this box out of cardboard with separators for the time being. If you have any ideas, please let me know. The smaller the better. Well, Brando, what I use to transport bulbs is just low-profile Tupperware containers, or the plastic sealable containers you normally would store leftover food in the refrigerator. I put my bulbs next to each other. I don't even use padding for that, but because the tolerance is so tight between the bulbs, I just put them in this box, put the lid on. They don't get damaged. I mean, unless you were to chuck the box at the floor, chuck the thing at the floor, then perhaps they would break by impacting or slamming into each other. But the same thing would probably happen in your box, although you do have the cardboard separators. But I found that this works fine, and you can get these, those resealable containers anywhere. Just get the low profile ones that your bulbs just kind of barely fit in, so they can't move around a lot, I think is the secret for that. Okay, thank you everybody for your questions, and thank you for watching all of the content on this channel. I really appreciate it. Again, if you want to support the show, please click the like button and leave a comment. That would help. This week the question is, what is a must-buy lens? What do you consider a must-buy lens? Even if you don't have an interchangeable lens camera, you can always add lenses on. Usually most video cameras have threads on the front, or if they don't, there's ways to do that. But what do you consider what lens do you have to have in your kit when you go shooting? That's a good question. This week the $1 budget show is going to be on Thursday, and I know that's a popular show. People like it, so tune in for that. There's kind of something extra coming this week, so look for it. You'll know what it is when you see it. Again, if you have a question, please send it to thefrugalfilmmaker@gmail.com. That's the best way to get it answered on this show. You can also find all the Frugal Filmmaker comment on the Frugal Filmmaker at frugalfilmmaker.com is the blog. There's also Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Those links are below. Obviously, this is YouTube. So anyway, have a good week. Good luck making your films. I hope this show helps. We'll see ya.